Happy Friday, everybody, whatever that means. It's I feel like all the days don't matter anymore than weekdays, but I wanted to share a story with you today that some of you know, a lot of you know, but some of you don't, and good refresher for you if you know the story. But it's really helping me get through this situation, kind of remembering this story and how we got through it back in the day. So I want to tell you about my situation when my 6-year-old son James was born and what we went through. So it was Mother's Day, and we were having this incredible day. We didn't have a lot of snow that year, so we actually had our yard was melted out, and we were playing barbecuing and hanging out in the yard and really enjoying the beautiful weather. And all of a sudden, my water broke, and I was 27 weeks pregnant. And I ended up going down to the hospital thinking, no, this is fine. I'll be okay. I'm gonna go home. No big deal. But it was a big deal. I actually was airlifted to Grand Junction, to St. Mary's Hospital, where they have a more robust NICU, because they assumed that I was gonna deliver him at 27 weeks. And so I got to the hospital late at night all by myself, and it was really scary. The doctors came in and said, if he's born today, it's pretty likely that he'll be developmentally, really struggle. He'll be blind, likely deaf. His lungs aren't developed. It's going to be very, very difficult. And that was terrifying news. But they said, however, if you can make it 24 hours, we can give you this second steroid shot that's going to really help his lungs and give his lungs a fighting chance to be strong enough if he's born. So I was like, okay, I can make it. I can do this. We're going to make it mentally. I just laid there going, don't go into labor, don't go into labor. And I didn't. And I got the shot. And that was a huge relief for the doctors and for myself. And then they were like, okay, if you can make it to 28 weeks, his lungs will be that much stronger. His eyes will be stronger. His ears, everything will develop that much more. So it's like, okay, I can make it to 29 weeks. And then I got to 29 weeks, and then I got to 30 weeks, and then they discovered that he had a blocked intestine. So that's why my water broke and kind of gave us some answers to what was happening, and it took the pressure off of me going into labor, but it didn't take the pressure off of the unknown and the fear of what was going to happen. We didn't have a lot of information about why his intestine was blocked. There was some ideas that potentially he had a chromosome disorder that would lead to developing things like this blockage. And that was really scary. So we had a lot of unknowns. The doctors were like, he's going to be born, we're going to have surgery. Surgery could be really scary, it could be very dangerous. And then he's likely to be in the NICU for what could be 6 months to a year. And so this was really, I'm laying in the hospital bed, just really terrified of the future and what to expect, and will my kid live, and will I get through this? And in the meantime, I also had a property under contract with some really great friends of mine, and it was a very complicated transaction. The property had some construction defaults and just things that we had to work through with attorneys, and there were times where we were kind of losing hope, and I decided to just start with the mantra of the glass half full. Let's look at this in the most positive way we can. Let's get through this with a glass half full attitude. And I used that in the transaction, but I also used that for myself. I think this was into like week 4 of 7, what ended up being 7 weeks in the hospital. And I just wanted to share that with you because I think we all need to be glass half full in this situation. So James was born on June 29th, 2013, and he was 5 pounds, and I was able to stay pregnant that long, and they ended up doing a C-section because it was just better for him at that point. And he had surgery the next day on his intestine. It took about 6 hours, and then he was only in the NICU for 9 days, and we got to bring him home, and almost 7 years later, he is the healthiest, most amazing, wonderful little boy that I could imagine. So I'm gonna cry. But having that glass half full attitude, I think, helped us get through the unknown. And now we look back on it and are just like, oh my gosh, that was nothing. And he's here and we made it. And it was just 7 weeks of our lives. And I really hope that that's how we're all going to feel when this is all over. And just remember, in the interim, glass half full. We've got this. We can do this. So I hope you have a great weekend and enjoy the story. And I love you all. We'll talk to you soon.